Hello, 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 everybody. How you all doing? Welcome to the Songwriting Academy Q&A webinar. Who do we have on board today? Who do we have on board? Hi, Johanna. Good to see you. Hey, Rich. And here they come. Here they come. Oh, yes. Here comes everybody. The onslaught of people from around the world. So good to see so many people joining us from around the world. As usual, please do tell us where you're dialing in from. And when you set your, when you're writing your chats in the chat box, please make sure you set it to all panelists and attendees so we can all see your comments. Hi, Zoe from London. Lovely to see you, Zoe. Who else do we have on board today? And where are you dialing in from? One other thing, just Dan is from Seattle, Chris from Sacramento. How fantastic is this? So I just want to say to everybody, we've got some questions already lined up. However, if you have questions that you want to ask, please do put them into the Q&A box, not the chat box. Please put them into the Q&A box because then we can work through them systematically. If they go into the chat box, I'm just going to they'll just scroll past and we'll miss them. So, hey Donna, how you doing from Cambridgeshire? Erwin from Alberta. This is fantastic. So lovely to see you all here. And we're going to try and help you out with as much as we can. The whole goal, as you know, of the Songwriting Academy is to try and help you with your songwriting, with your producing, if you're an artist, to help you with your artist career. Understanding social media, whatever it is, we're here to help you the best that we can by giving you up-to-date advice on it. The music business is constantly changing, and I'm lucky enough to surround myself with mentors that are experts in so many different fields. Collectively, between us, we've sold over 500 million records, so we're giving you the very best advice possible. And it's my absolute joy to welcome with me today the wonderful Jeff Franzel. Put your hands together, everybody, for the wonderful Jeff Franzel, who's dialing in from New York. How's the weather over there, Jeff?
It's really nice. We have a really, beautiful. It's not too hot. We've had a lot of rain, but the last few days and the 4th of July is supposed to be beautiful. So all good.
Fantastic. And Jeff, you've just come back from one of our Songwriting Academy retreats in Andalusia. That was at the beginning of June, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
How was that for you, dear boy?
It was really unbelievable. The chemistry of the mentors and the songwriters there was just magical. We had about 35 writers. Everyone was good in their own way. And, we just love to be a part of it, and we wrote songs every day with them. It was wonderful, really great time.
Yeah, and you were joined by this was in fact the first retreat that I haven't been on ever, so it was. Unfortunately, I had to go to Nashville and do a course over there, a one-day course for some people. I had some meetings to go to. I had co-writes to do. So you were ably led by the wonderful Paddy Byrne, weren't you?
Yes, Paddy was there, and Mo Pleasure and Maria Christensen. Maria and I have been writing for over 20 years together, so we have a chemistry already, synergy. And it was work hard, play hard. We had laughs, and we worked our butts off.
Hold on a minute, I didn't say you could enjoy yourself when I wasn't there.
Well, you weren't there. Of course, we enjoyed ourselves. No. It was wonderful. And what's really it's a nonstop learning situation. I mean, we have dinner. You can still gain information from our insight and it's if people are thinking about doing the retreats, all I can say is do it. It's amazing experience. Yeah.
So I mean, this is the sort of thing that any of you guys, although we're actually fully booked for September, we're now booking for next May and June. June we're already half full. But
we're same mentors for June, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. But you've got the opportunity to work with someone like Jeff Franzel. For those of you that aren't familiar with Jeff, his track record goes way back to playing piano for Frank Sinatra and Sammy Davis Jr. out in Vegas, wasn't it, Jeff?
Yeah. Yeah.
Writing for, Josh Groban, for NSYNC. Throw a few more at me as well.
Taylor Dane, Clay Aiken, Sean Colvin.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Jeff has got an amazing track record and is a wonderful mentor. I've never seen anybody spend so much time when they're having fun playing the piano actually standing up at the piano. But a wonderful, wonderful pianist. And of course, Jeff and I have written together as well. Maria Christensen on the retreat was, she co-wrote Waiting for Tonight for Jennifer Lopez. She's worked with Celine Dion. Had about 15 or 20 things away with Disney, really, really high profile synchronizations there. And of course, the wonderful Mo Pleasure, whose first gig out of college was playing bass for Ray Charles and was the musical director of Earth, Wind and Fire for 8 years, and wonderful player, wonderful producer. So put your hands up if you'd like to spend a day writing with any one of those writers. I mean, it's the most, yeah, exactly. It's the most remarkable experience. It really is incredible. So, right, we've got questions here. So we've got questions lined up in the Q&A already, but if you have any questions about songwriting, if you've hit a brick wall with your songwriting, you want to know how to get past it, if you're struggling with a lyric or you're struggling with a melody, or maybe you've just lost your mojo, then please put a question in there and let us know how we can help you. That's what we're here to do. And if we run out of questions, we can do a quick song and dance, but we may finish early. So let's see how we go. So the first question is from Erwin. Nice to see you again, Erwin. It's lovely to see you regularly attending these. Hi, Martin and Jeff. When it comes to the melodic contour of a song's final chorus, since we'd like to impact the listener with the help of a memorable final chorus of a song, is it all right to raise the notes slightly higher compared to the previous two choruses of a song without completely changing the core melody of the chorus? Really good question, this. Or is it better to do the contour increase on the backing vocals and instruments, as well as possibly making these song elements louder, or maybe do both? So let's look at this first, Jeff. We've got our first two choruses that are fairly, they're usually pretty much identical, aren't they? Chorus one and chorus two. Yeah. There might be the odd little note in chorus two that's different. And then we get to the final outro choruses. What's your take on it in terms of making an effective record?
Well, let's first talk about, okay, let me answer that question and then get to the real point of this question. Okay, but the last chorus, you have your ad libs, which help to beef up that chorus. You're going to have ad libs. I don't believe in altering a hook very much, because that is what the people are going to go back and remember. You know, that I don't really believe in that. I think once you have your hook, don't alter it too much, because you're going to confuse the listener. But to me, the real point is to make that melodic hook so unbelievably, undeniably strong, which 9 out of 10 writers that I critique usually don't have a lift in their chorus. They don't have that spike that Martin specifies. They usually have it very kind of static. And so most important to that question is that your original chorus melody is so strong and solid. I mean, listen to Adam Levine, what he does to his songs. Listen to, you know, the Whitney Houston great melodies that she used to sing. You know, what makes these incredible songs? Great hooks. So really lift those melodies in your choruses, and I wouldn't be as concerned about altering that much on the third chorus.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. When we talk about melodic contour, for those of you that haven't heard this expression before, you know, I always think of it as like the contour of the land, you know, which sort of is up and down with hills, etc. And for me, the verses at sea, this is 9 times out of 10. It's not a rule. It's just a really great tool. The verses at sea level the chorus is on a mountaintop and the pre-chorus is climbing up there. So it's setting that expectation of a wow. And so all of the high notes are usually in the chorus, and it doesn't have to be, but by God, it works so well. And I've had so many songs away where that happens, because just in terms of human nature, the brain responds to higher frequencies more readily than it does lower frequencies. They use lower frequencies in horror movies, for example, to scare people, because it upset the really, really sub basses. They upset the stomach. They actually make it vibrate in a way that it feels uncomfortable. And so it adds to the horror effect of the movie, which is why they use the very, very subby basses. But anything that is going to try and grab your attention in life is a high frequency. You're looking at police sirens. You're looking at alarm bells, cymbal crashes. They're there to grab your attention. They're all high frequencies. And so if we follow that with our songwriting and use higher frequency notes, first of all, the singer is usually singing with more passion when they're up there, because they're on their toes trying to get these high notes. And and it also follows the way that we talk. If we're talking more passionately about things, then the pitch of the note just immediately goes up, doesn't it? You know. But if we're very calm, then the note goes down. So we're just following human nature and doing what triggers the brain so well. And Jeff is absolutely right. You know, spend your time writing as many different chorus hooks as you can. Let's say you've got your lyrics, but as many different melodies as it takes to get to the one that gives you the zizz, that gives you the rush. You know, because so many people just settle for notes that fit into the key, and they don't push the boundaries. So get a great hook to start with. And yeah, right at the end of the song, if you want to elevate it up to the next level, and you want to do that with the lead vocal, then make sure that the backing vocals are in there, reinforcing the original hook. So people can still sing along with that if they want. But then if you've got the big diva moment where the singer wants to go, "Whoa," give it all.
The ad-libs.
Yeah, the ad-libs.
That's what lifts that chorus, but don't change the chorus hook.
Yeah, don't change the hook. And something that Chris Neal sort of gave me as a great bit of advice Chris Neal is a producer. I've made loads and loads of records with Chris, and a great bit of advice he gave me. I was thinking of finishing the song with, you know, some random line or something. And he said, leave them with the last thing that you play them in the song is the thing that you want them to remember. And that's usually the hook. So 9 times out of 10, when I'm making a record, the last thing you'll hear on my record, on my track, is the hook of the song, rather than going back to a pre-chorus just because I liked what it said. It's like, leave them with the hook. So they go away singing the hook, and then they want to come back and listen to the hook again. So that's just another, and again, these are all tools, not rules. But they work. They work really.
Yeah. And one other thing, so this is a very important question that you asked. Many times writers tend to not milk their words. When I say milk, I mean sustain. They make your hooks singable. Don't rush the words, you know, da 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 da, like da 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 da. You know, that's your melodic chorus is your release. So don't make it too syncopated where the listener can't grab onto.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's simplicity is grossly underrated.
Underrated.
Yeah, there's a lot of songwriters will go, "Oh no, it's too simple. Oh, it's too simple." But you know what? Simple means accessible by people. Don't run away from it. So good, really good, interesting question there. Thanks, Owen. Thank you for that. Let's move. Oh, why is that not? Oh, that's bizarre. Okay, so the next question is from Zoe. Hi, Zoe. I've been told that I have a knack for choruses. Fantastic. Can you bring your knack round here? Since being told this, my choruses have started sounding similar. How can I combat this? This may well be overthinking, but Jeff, how do you get out of the? I've got my methods for getting out of that comfort zone. How do you do it? You know, when you just, you know, when you sit the keys or the guitar or whatever, and like you end up playing the same thing or find yourself writing the same kind of melodies. Does that happen to you?
Oh, sure. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And what I, again, I know this is a very, to me, one other thing that makes a fantastic melody is the marriage of the melody and the lyric. Ask yourself, what is the lyric saying to you? We're talking about writing with a lyric, correct, Martin?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what is the lyric saying to you emotionally? I just, I'm really feeling shitty. You know, I'm feeling awful today. I mean,
That's beautiful.
Yeah. I mean, something dramatic. So why would you want to make the melodic line, too samey? So what I'm saying is, when I sometimes am stuck, I want the emotion of the message of the words to help dictate the melody. And again, what I challenge myself, I'm not a singer. I play my melodies on the keyboard. And I, again, try to, I know this is, guys, make sure your theory, your scales versus into the melody, even if you're, and you don't have to, but really try to explore different intervals, somewhere over the rainbow, da, 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 ba, 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 ba. Really go for different, as Martin says, contour, and don't settle on, the same thing. When I mentor people, I don't just lecture. They work on that. When I say it's too static, they work on it right there. And the challenge is to get out of your comfort zone and find different intervals for the melodies. A melody is not da 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 da. Melodies da da dee ba do bum. There's a melody, okay? So challenge yourself in that way.
Yeah. Wise words. And the thing that I've seen so much of is people that will get their chords and they will do this bluesy singing because they think it's sexy. The slides, and it's just instantly forgettable. It's lazy. It's not a tune that you can whistle, a tune that you can remember.
Right.
So don't settle, absolutely. And my go-to thing when I'm working with any singer or any writer, and we just end up having that sort of, this sounds really familiar. I will often say to people, do the last thing that you would expect to do. And if there's a singer in the room, instead of just, who goes into they might love singing the major triads, and just staying very, very safe. I will say, do the last thing you would expect to do and go crazy, go nuts. I'll pay, it's fine. And if you screw up and you hit a wrong note, it doesn't matter. Get out of your own way and try shit that you've never tried before, because and I've said this so many times, it's the chance takers that are the chart makers. It's like the people that are really pushing the boundaries of rhythm and melody are the ones that are suddenly standing out in the charts, and everybody says, oh, I want a song just like that because that's so different. So even if you're working with the same 4 chords, this is a great exercise to do. Get the same 4 chords going on rotation and make yourself sing 10 different melodies to it without stopping. Just hit record on your phone.
Yeah.
And make yourself sing 10 different melodies just to open up the floodgates and keep them coming out, Yeah,
and it's very important when you are doing this, these exercises, as Martin is saying, is that make the sound of the words, make them sing, you know, because a lot of times don't force the words, you know, you've got to make them flow so they sound, again, the marriage of the melody and the lyric. So very important to know when, you know, when you're stressing different, you know, different consonants and not, you know, overemphasizing different things. It's very important to have a natural flow with your words in the melody.
Yeah, absolutely. Great, really good question. Another good question. Love for that. But Zoe, push yourself, step out your comfort zone and take some chances. I just want to say, Tony, for some bizarre reason, my mouse is not letting me close down questions as I answer them. So if you're able to, Tony is our, hands together everybody for wonderful Tony Dennis that's doing all of the administration on these things. So I can, however, see the last one. Hey, Tony and Jeff. Sorry, Tony. Hey, Jeff. Great to see you again here. What do you think the key to a great melody is? Wow. The key to a great melody, Jeff.
Wow. A key to a great melody. Okay, it's a very good question. Again, I'm going to say it again. I know I already repeated myself, but a key to a great melody is to have a synergy with the lyric. Okay, to make them sound like it's one. Okay, but to me, I think of a melody as looking at my room here where I'm sitting. You're not over cluttering one corner. There's space over here. There's space here. There's a feeling of symmetry. You know, that when you're writing a melody, you don't want to go da 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 ba 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 ba. You want to ba 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 ba. You want to have a natural flow that has this is a good question. There's a sense of, well, look at the classic melodies of like Happy Birthday, da da, yeah, Happy Birthday to do, da 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 ba da. One of the things about making a great melody like that is there is a synergy. There's a pattern, da 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 da. So what I look for when I write melodies are motifs within the melody, that you having something to hold your hat on. You hang your hat on, da 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 da. So there are intervals that are repeating itself, but are not in the same notes.
Yeah.
So right, Martin? There's a pattern.
That's sequential repetition. Exactly. Yeah.
So that's what I look for when I'm writing melodies, rather than just randomly putting notes together. It's very thought out. It's a really, I know Martin's one of his favorite songs that I wrote was this song called "Never Saw Blue Like That." So, never saw blue like that, da 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 da. Da 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 da. So I'm repeating the hook. Da 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 da. Then I go. Then now here's the spike. Da 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 da. Here's the pattern. Da 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 da. Now I'm coming back to the hook. I never saw blue like that before. So there's a pattern. And as Martin says, ending on, you know, of course, a song with the hook, but ending, I always like ending the melody with your original melody. Da 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 da. So yeah, that's where you're ending it.
There's a phenomenal amount of this, Jeff, and all of you. There's a phenomenal amount of songs that use what we call the Happy Birthday technique, where lines 1, 2, and 4 are pretty much identical lines in terms of the melody. And then line 3 goes off on a tangent somewhere, and it can be completely different. But it's all about 1, 2, and then you make them miss that hook by giving them something different in line 3, and then coming back to the original melody, or a sequential repetition thereof of that first melody. And it's used in go back and listen to pretty much any song that you love, and you'll find these things out there. But the thing, I think Jeff really hit on something there, that he said it's not just a matter of choosing random notes. It's not just saying, oh, I'll do a random selection of notes for line 1 of the verse and then a random selection for line 2 of the verse, because people need that repetition. They need to feel that they're coming home to something and the familiarity of melody in a song. And so why not give them what they want? You know, if you're just doing it for your own benefit and you don't give a damn either way, fair enough. But if you want to try and sell records, you've got to understand what people want, and they want familiarity in a song. This is not a pop thing. This is, you'll find it in classical music too, won't you? Yeah. That little triplet thing going there. It's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, go listen to some Mozart. He was possibly one of the best pop writers of all time. You know, he was an amazing hook writer. So yeah, this is not a new thing. This is just human nature loving these hooks. Right, Tony, I'm just going to have to ask you a favor. My mouse, for some reason, the cursor is not allowing me to delete or even extend the Q&A window. It's gone very weird. I've updated my computer today, so that's probably why. Mac having a dig at me for updating. Could you pop it into a chat box for me, or maybe just send it into the chat thing for me, please, and hopefully it'll come through. Whatever the question after yours was. Let's see how we're doing. I'll try page down key. Oh, what's the down key? What on earth is that? Right, okay then. What is your... That was Space Invaders, aliens from somewhere. But okay, we're going to have to handle this one, right? So what is your favorite way to build a climactic moment?
Oh my God. Do they know who they're talking to, Martin?
Oh my God.
Wow.
Who's responsible?
You know, my parole officer is standing right here, so I better be very careful to answer this question.
Yes. So I think in terms of this, we are looking for, we're talking about the climactic moment that is the chorus. The favorite way to build that. I'm happy to dive in first on this, Jeff, if you like.
Sure, go for it.
For me, it's all about building expectation. It's like making love to a beautiful woman. No, it's about building expectation, and then actually satisfying that expectation. You know, it's the build that's so important in there. If you are just meandering along with a verse that's kind of just down here suddenly, and then out of nowhere the chorus goes, hallelujah, you know, it's going to be, oh Jesus, that was a bit of an unpleasant shock. But if you listen to pieces of music where we feel the build coming towards this big moment, and listen to, you know, I listen to a lot of EDM, listen to Zed, and well, I mean, Zed is my God, I just love this guy to bits. But we're talking about that moment where you get things like the risers, the electronic risers that go, and you'll get the drums, all of this kind of stuff going on in the production. And we're talking about building expectation there. And then when the drop actually happens, everybody goes nuts with it when the real thing kicks in. So that's in terms of electronic music, but in songwriting, we do the same thing. We have melodies that start climbing. We have, you know, we sometimes people call the pre-chorus the ladder, and other people call it the ramp, and that's what it's doing. It's kind of ramping up. Some people call it the runway. So think of all of these things as like something is happening. We're setting an expectation for something to happen, and then if we deliver to that expectation, and we satisfy that expectation with a big wow moment, a big, whether it be a high note or a melody that's absolutely killer melody, or a lyric that is just like sticks the knife in the chest, or something that makes you dance like crazy around the room. Whatever it is, it's about, do you know what? It's about manipulating human emotions. You know, we've got them on the calm in the verse, and then in the pre-chorus, we got this chance to lift up that expectation and then deliver a killer blow. And so we have to think about what excites us, you know, in terms of music, and then deliver that in the song that we're writing. So for me, it's all about setting expectations and then knocking them out of the ballpark. That's what I think makes climactic.
I totally agree with Martin, and I think to break it down even more specifically, with to me, the most important part of the climactic moment is, as Martin says, is the setup, the pre-chorus. How do you set up that hook when that hook comes? Okay, many writers will not have enough space between their pre-chorus, the end of the chorus, and when the chorus starts. They, you know, da ba da da ba da 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 da, rather than ba da 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 dwee, boo doo doo. So you give the listener like this feeling of to me, it's like a rubber band. You know, you're extended this rubber band, and all of a sudden it's just boom, you let it release. It's like there's a feeling of feeling that everything hits at that peak when that chorus comes. But if you're going to be cluttering that space, you're going to lose a listener. So what I'm saying is, make sure that you set up. People say that more important than choruses are pre-choruses. The pre-chorus is what really sets up that chorus. So like Martin says, it's like a ladder. You know, you're getting up and you're getting up, but then just wait a minute and then let it.
Yes, the pause.
Yeah, the pause. It's so important, and that's why, you know, really use your expertise in allowing that pre-chorus to set up the chorus. Yeah,
fantastic. Right, next question's interesting. I'm not sure if there's one above this, Tony, but I can't even scroll through the chat window for some bizarre reason. And it was from, oh, hold on a minute. Right, okay, I've got it here. This is from Daryl, which was, I think this is from Daryl. Question, if you had to choose between better hook melody or better lyrics for the hook, what would it be?
Wow, that's a very good question. Okay. I know I'm more the music guy, but I would go for more the better lyric. The better lyric, because I feel one of the things that's lacking in pop music are just sensational, brilliant lyrics, and I think it's harder. And I've worked with many very, very good, good lyricists, including Martin. And I know it's a bitch to really come up with that undeniable lyric. And when you hit it, there's nothing like it. And I think more importantly, in my mind, but I don't think there's a right or wrong answer here. I think this is very subjective, because many people think the hook, the melodic hook is more, more important. As a writer, I feel that since in my mind, lyrics are, to write unfamiliar themes in a familiar way is really, really tough. And I think to find something that is so unique and special is to me what makes a fantastic song.
Yeah, it's I had a bit of a moment there. I was thinking, well, is it the melody? Because the melody is the thing. And I love this. One of our mentors said this on the previous retreat, but the melody is what pulls people into a song, and the lyric is what keeps them there. Because of course the brain processes the melody first, because of the nature of the fact that there's no language involved. So So yeah, that was my first thought, and then I thought, no, fuck it. If I'm going to compromise on either of those, then I'm settling. So I'm not going to choose either of them. If I had to choose between a great melody or a great lyric, then I would work harder until I got a great melody and a great lyric. I'm sorry, but I would.
That's a better. I actually think that's even a better answer than mine. What Martin just said. It's.
I know that you work that way too, Jeff. You and I will prod and poke something until.
Yeah, that's really. There's no one or another. They have to both be unbelievable. That's why Elton John is Elton John. You know, Bernie Taupin, Elton John. I mean, they're both masters. And if Elton John had a B-rated lyricist,
Yeah, and you know what? I've heard stories of, you know, everyone leaving the studio in LA and Max Martin being the last one in there, still trying different melodic ideas, and still prodding the song to make it the best it can be. And that's probably why he's the most successful songwriter on the planet right now. You know, yeah, don't settle. Don't even think, you know, as far as I'm concerned, there is no choice to be made between one or the other. It's not, no, I want both.
Yeah.
That's how we get songs in the charts, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's being fucking relentless with what we do. So don't settle.
Yes, absolutely.
Right. Right. Next question. I'm going to have a look at this thing here because I took a photo as it was flying past. Right. It's another question from Zoe saying, I have a song where the chorus stays at a similar pitch to my verses. This is unusual for me, but I feel like it really works. I've changed elements like rhythm and tempo so it still has interest and fits the sentiment stroke meaning of the lyrics. Would you recommend lifting it still? For my money, you know, it doesn't have to work that way. Some songs, especially songs that are, sometimes when you get songs that are more intimate songs, they don't need to be the big, well, yeah, I'm gonna throw myself on you and swing, you know. It's sometimes, you know, the pillow talk songs are very cool, you know, just down low and staying there. So I think it all depends on what you're saying. In the lyric, Zoe, for my money, you know, if it's a song about, hey, I've won and life is amazing, then I'd probably be looking at having a higher melody, because that's the sort of lyric that if you were saying it in real life, your voice would be raising in pitch. But if you were lying next to someone on bed and saying, I'd really like to have a kiss, something like that, you wouldn't be in the super high pitch, and you wouldn't be saying something like that either. That's not my style.
I thought he was talking to me.
I am, Jeff. but you know, sometimes it's cooler to have cooler melodies, you know. But I think it depends on what kind of song it is.
Well, and I agree with Martin, but don't forget there are different ways of distinguishing different sections, not just the melody. You have the harmonic rhythm. You change the chordal, you know, you hold the chord one bar in the, you know, in the verse. In the chorus, that say another chord can be held for 2 bars. So you're making the different rhythm of the chordal progression different for the sections, and you're also, you know, you can also change the rhythm of the melody. You know, right? Are we saying were you mainly talking more about the range of the melody?
Yeah, the pitch of the melody. She's saying that.
Yeah. So the other
has changed the rhythm of it and the phrasing. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think there are other ways. I believe in any genre, one should have contrast of the sections. Don't get too samey. But I totally agree with Martin in you know, the certain kind of song. You know, you don't have to always lift the chorus. That's the main thing. You don't. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. You're right, Jeff. It's about contrast. And sometimes you can have a melody where you just have one small phrase where you don't lift the melody, but you just repeat this phrase over and over again. And just that repetition will give you enough contrast with the rest of the verse for the chorus to stand out. So there's no hard and fast rules for this, but it's just worth knowing that as far as that melody, I mean, we've talked about it a lot on this call, but as far as that melody lift into the chorus goes, it's there as a tool if you need it. If your chorus is lacking and you don't know why, then try lifting the chorus. You know, it's another tool to have in your belt to see how you get on with. Good question. So I'm taking pictures as we go of the questions that are coming up. And the what? Oh no, that's the wrong. I was opening the wrong bloody app. Okay, the next one. Please discuss the object and ingredients formula for a great post-chorus. So we're talking about. I'm taking this is from Daryl. Daryl, I'm assuming that you mean that we're talking about the B chorus, like in electronic music, where we'll get that, or you know, where like in Clarity, where there's the drop and then just little hooks that are appearing in there. Is that what you mean, Daryl? If you could let me know, that would be great. And in the meantime, I'm going to take a photograph of some more questions. This is so bizarre, the way this has worked out. Yes, the modern song component. So, yeah, with the B chorus, you know, I listen to a lot of electronic music. I love Zed to bits, Z-E-D-D, for those of you that haven't listened to any. And, you know, the key components, I would say, to the B chorus, and I'm working on a couple of songs that have that at the moment, production-wise. Again, it's that expectation, you know, production with my producer's hat on, coming into that drop, into that B, I'll be using like what we call risers, R-I-S-E-R. So these are just kind of sound effects that are literally gradually lifting in pitch. So again, I'll be using reverse cymbals, reverse sounds. So we get this. So everything is saying, here it comes, here it comes, here it comes. And then, of course, when it hits, having something, usually this is where the big kick is dropping. And when you've got something down low dropping like that, especially if it's supported by a really, really cool bass, then it's a great idea to make your record sound really big, of having something way up in the ceiling. So I often use a thing called, it's just called a clean noise down. And it's something that just goes. So it's just this lovely kind of ceiling that you don't necessarily hear really loud, but it balances out this gorgeous bottom end that you get. And in terms of content itself, you know, we're looking at a repetitive hook. It's usually it's either a repeat of the hook that you've heard in the chorus, or it's a brand new chant. So if you look at a song like Clarity, for example, I'm going to see if I can fire this up to give you an example of it.
Great. And Martin, I'm going to get an example. I'll be right back in 30 seconds.
Okay, man. Yeah. So this is, in fact, what I'm just going to do, I'm going to make sure that I'm sharing. Oh, crikey. Is this not going to let me share? Wow. Okay, so we're going to have to do it. This may not be coming through stereo. I apologize for that. But I don't want to shut down the Zoom program, because or you will lose me. But okay, so this song called Clarity by Zed, and it's steadily building and building throughout the whole process to get there. So this is the verse. I'm sorry this isn't in stereo. So here's the pre. So the melody is lifting, so we're getting that sense of expectation there. And then the chorus lifts yet again melodically. Right, and you'll hear the drums going, doing the 16s there. And this is, again, it's a classic production technique. And you would have heard things going, whoop. Everything is saying lifting, lifting, lifting. And then when it drops, we've got, what he's done is introduced a brand new hook into it. And this is a great opportunity in the B chorus to introduce a brand new hook. One of the songs I'm working at the moment is doing a very, very similar thing. It's not the same hook, but it's a chant. And think of it as like a football stadium thing, you know? And so anybody can sing along, no matter how much booze they've had. And you know, then it all helps.
Exactly.
So B chorus is, it's about building up the expectation. And then when you drop, making it tall and deep and wide in the production and introducing a new hook into it. And even when you're doing that, you can also repeat the main hook from the chorus. It's a chance for you to basically just bang home more hooks to the listener. So do go, and again, apologies that this hasn't been in stereo, but do go home and listen to, or do go home, you're at home, aren't you? Do listen to Clarity by Zed. And in fact, you know, a lot of Zed's stuff, he does this B chorus.
He's great. In the middle's great. Yeah, he's incredible. I wanted to play an example of something that I recently wrote with Maria. We were just in Amsterdam of a post hook, which, similar to what Martin was saying, is a chant, and it's just another hook that in a way I'm actually more prouder of this chant than the hook itself, because it has a really strong melody. Can you hear this?
Always gotta explode it. Why are you always so locked and loaded? Why are you always defensive mode? This shit. How is a brother? Why do you always fall for me? Back and forth and back again. Why do you always gotta live? Why? How is a brother? Why do you always fall for me? Back and forth and back again. Then what's that again? Why?
Yeah.
There you go. So as you hear, the post hook is like a whistle.
Yeah.
And it's something that you want to be memorable, and that's, you know, why a lot of times I really, you know, when I'm critiquing songs, many people tend not to have a hook, a post hook, and I really think it's today you need hooks everywhere. And don't we? We need hooks everywhere. And guess what? Listen to the beginning of the song. This is the beginning of my song.
Last night.
Yeah.
So again, I think if you come away from this hour session that Mark and I are doing, if you just remember how important these melodic hooks are, and listen to the simit, da 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 da. It's the same. It has the motif, okay, of you know, what getting back to your original question, you know, the very first question was what makes a great melody. It's something that you can remember.
Yeah, absolutely. And really great that it's in the intro as well. You know, we talk about the intro being, you know, something that is not, people aren't interested in introductions anymore. You know, you listen to Max Martin songs and he's coming in sort of 2 to 5 seconds, the singing has begun. But if you're going to have one, use it to tell people what the hook is going to be later. You know, that's just the perfect thing to do with an intro now. Don't just let it be some guitar strumming chords and thinking people are going to give a shit about how you strum the guitar, because they won't. They will just skip it. The average skip time on Spotify is 4 to 5 seconds, something like that. It's crazy. So, but give them a hook, And then they'll be going, oh, right, okay, that will stick in there. And when it comes back round, they will know it, and they won't even necessarily remember they heard it at the beginning of the song. Again, it's just manipulating the way that their brain works and processing music. Got a good question here from Matt as well, saying, does the B chorus always have the same progression as the main chorus? And the answer is 9 times out of 10, yes, Matt. It's exactly the same. And in fact, if you listen to Clarity by Zed, it's the same chord progression for the verse, the pre-chorus, the chorus, and the drop. And yet all 4 sections have got incredible contrast between each other. It's a genius bit of writing. So Chris is saying setting expectations in music is largely done through harmonic tension. I know the V7 chord is a standard for setting up the 1 chord. Oh, the 5/7, the 5/7. But what are other chords and even progressions that you like to use that create tension? Can I just say something quickly on that? You know, when we are, oh. Okay, horribly out of tune. It's the weather fluctuating. But if I'm playing in G, it's very rare that I will play the D7, the 7th of the 5 chord. It's very rare that I'll even do the 5. There's sometimes, I think in modern music, there's more tension to be had by using the 4 before going into the back to the home chord.
Or 2 minor or the A minor.
Yeah.
Play that, Martin, for them. Play the A. Go
different guitar, because that one it's a Nashville high strung and it tends to go.
Play the A minor and then go to D.
So here's my song I'm singing, and here's my plea. And just by hanging on that 4, that could do it. Or here's my plea, and that's the 2 minor, isn't it?
Play the 2 minor. Exactly.
Yeah. So
yeah,
it's rare these days. I mean, we used to do it a lot, and they'll probably still do it in country as well, a bit more, playing the 5 or the 7th of that before going back into the chorus. But these days, I think in pop writing, it's considered a little bit cheesy. Would you say, Jeff?
I absolutely. Martin, hold on to that guitar.
I'm going to get a different one.
Okay. Because I think it's better. I'm not at a piano, and I can give you a few other chords that are good, good for harmonic tension before you get to the, to the root. One is a 4 minor 6, and when Martin plays that, you'll hear it's a very common, especially for ballads. Yeah, I was just telling them other harmonic chords. If you're in G, play the C minor 6. Right. For ballads. Yeah. It's a good chord. Yeah.
E flat. Yeah.
E flat. Yeah.
But I think for most of the time that I'm writing straight down the line pop stuff, if I'm doing that tension build in the pre-chorus, one thing I'll do is I'll withhold the home chord. That's a great way of creating tension to release it, because people will then miss it. If I'm going around chords, okay, same old chord progression. We know this one. And rather than going to the G for my pre-chorus, I'll stay away from it completely so people miss it. So, and here's I'm building here some tension. You want it more, the more I don't give it to you. Give it to you. And here's the dream. So we suddenly get that kind of, we're sort of like, our toes are on the edge of the cliff.
Yeah. Now another variation, Martin, do the same thing you did and go to the E minor rather than the G. A good substitution for the major is your relative minor. the
in
6
the
minor.
chorus, do you mean?
In the chorus, yeah. And then exactly,
and then back to the G is kind of nice.
exactly, like an E minor C G D is a very good chorus progression.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tricks. These are tricks because you don't always have to go to that, you know, major chord.
Yeah, exactly. And Zoe's saying that she loves the G, F sharp, G sharp. Is that the one you mean? G sharp minor? Hold on, we've got E, F sharp. Not quite sure what that one is, but yeah, it's again, it's all about sort of taking the listener and sort of saying you almost can have it, you almost can have it, now you can have it. You know, you're in control. So again, don't just pick random chords, and you know, don't do this thing where you go, well, you know what? No one's ever done the thing where they've gone G, C sharp, F, E flat. Yeah. No one's ever done that before. No one's ever had a hit with that before. I'll show them. Yeah. Good luck with that. You know, it's like, don't do stuff just to be different. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel here. We're just trying to put a new tire on it. So if you find yourself playing the 1 5 6 4, the G D E minor C, and it's working for you, please don't make that mistake that I've made in the past, where I've gone, oh no, so many other songs have used that progression, I've got to find something different. No, you don't. You just have to find a great melody that nobody's found before and a great lyric that nobody's found before. So don't worry. Nobody goes down the street humming chord changes, everybody. They don't care what the chords are. The average listener does not care what the chords are. They want a great tune. They want to feel something. There's so many hit songs with those chords because they work. Right, how are we doing? We've still got 30 minutes left, and I'm just wondering if we've got any more questions here, because I haven't been able to see whether there are questions. Let me just have a quick look on here. Please. Oh, in fact, there was one. There was actually a question about my Nashville. Yeah, what have I learned from my recent Nashville, LA visit? And in fact, this is something really worth talking about. And I know, well, Jeff travels an awful lot for music as well. You know, we've been doing this, since just after the Boer War, isn't it, Jeff? You and me?
It feels like it. You know, every time I'm with you, Martin, it even feels longer than that.
Yeah, I know, right. But, you know, we've been doing this for a long time, and it doesn't mean that the record labels and the publishers are all clamoring at the door, knocking at the door saying, hey, you know, we want you and nobody else to write songs for our artists. We have to go travel. We have to go and find opportunities. We have to go and make opportunities. And, you know, the Nashville and LA thing for me was amazing. I hooked up with some incredible writers. If I hadn't gone to Nashville, I wouldn't have had the chance to write one of my favorite songs, which is was with a wonderful woman called Beth Nielsen Chapman. And you know, that's a new co-writer that I have, who is wonderful. We got on famously. We wrote beautiful songs together, and that's somebody that if I have an amazing co-writer friend that's going to Nashville, I can hook them up with Beth as well. You know, it's about sharing the love. And as well as that, you know, there were two people I met in the sync world, one of whom has had 2,000 placements in sync and the other 5,000. And one of them, the girl that had written 5,000, I worked with her. So she's going to be pitching out the song that we wrote. She's a real hustler for stuff. So there was loads of opportunities there, great songs written. And it reminded me how important it is that no matter where you are in your career, how many records you've sold or not, it's so important to make opportunities happen for yourself. Doesn't mean that you have to fly thousands of miles, but the ethos is there about actually getting off your ass and going somewhere. don't think that you can do this from the confines of your own home, just hitting people up on Facebook. You know, yesterday lunchtime, I had lunch with a guy that's with Made Records in the UK, which is it's sort of attached to Universal Records, an incredible A&R guy who you know, Jeff, Danny.
Yeah, he put me together with Reese. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I had lunch with him, and then I had dinner with John Saunderson, Notting Hill Music, and we talked about loads of opportunities as well. It's like, you can't do this over Facebook and WhatsApp. You can, but it's not the same as actually seeing people, going out there. So I'd encourage everybody to get off your asses and just go out there and find other people that do what you do, work with them, and meet people in the business. Offer to buy people lunch. You know, I paid for everything yesterday because I wanted to treat these people, and it's, you know, karma will bring it back to me at some point, you know, if it hasn't already. So so take people for lunch, go travel, go write with people.
I mean, Martin knows, you know, I was in Europe for 3 weeks. I got back yesterday, and I was writing every day. And I had a really exciting time in Amsterdam where they asked me to write a song with the winner of The Voice there in Holland, and he's a Sinatra clone, so they knew that I would, you know, work well with him. And today I've been WhatsApping. They're in the studio with Strings recording it. The single comes out in 2 weeks.
Wow.
It happened, you know, because it would not have happened if I didn't go there in March. Yeah.
There you go. This I think actually there was only me fucking clapping there, Jeff. Jeff just went there, wrote a song, and it's just got cut. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together. Come on, let's show those hands.
I think Martin's our point. We're not bragging. Really what we're doing is saying this can happen to you. This can be you. It's no reason why you guys can't be in our shoes, because there are opportunities there. And you know what, guys? They need us more than we need them. Don't ever forget that. They need our stuff. So what we're helping you with is giving you the nuts and bolts to write those amazing songs. And by the way, Martin and I are still learning too. You know, we're still incorporating a lot of what we're helping you with, similar to our process. But one thing I wanted to say to you guys, since we're sort of on a general thing here.
Yeah.
One of the things, and I think Martin will agree with me, 99% of the sessions that I did this last 3 weeks, it didn't have to do, let's write a Katy Perry hit. Let's write a hit. Let's try to get this, Ellie Goulding song. It had to be more, what are you feeling? What are you feeling in the room? You know, if there's an artist, if there's a writer, what's the mood? So the song always had a heart. And I think what is most important, rather than trying to chase a flavor or a hit, is go by, you know, what's going on? What are you feeling, you know, emotionally? And I think that's when you're going to get to the real core of all of everything we're talking about. Yes, everything we're helping you with tools, with theory, and, you know, what makes a great melody. But at the end of the day, you have to say something that is going to make the listener feel. And rather than, you know, trying to make some money on a major hit, you're not going to make the listener feel. You're going to make them feel by you writing about, you just fell in love with this person, you just broke up with this person, you're feeling this, you know, about the world, you know, self-empowerment. Get into your feelings. That's what makes great songs. Yeah, that's great advice. One last thing that I'm going to say before the next question is that one of the really interesting things that happened to me in Nashville was that I went into a bar and I got chatting to the people that own the bar, then connected in the music business, know a load of people I do. And there was a kid playing in the bar. I say kid, he was like 21 years old. And he's what we call a pin drop artist. He started singing and the whole bar just shut the hell up and listened. And he's got one of these really deep baritone, hey Martin, how you doing, kind of voices.
really, really, really deep baritone, and he sings like this. He's a cool guy. He's 21, and the moment I heard him, I thought that kid's going to get signed at some point by somebody, and so I just arranged a co-write with him, and that for me is really, really exciting, because if you think how Jake Gosling must have felt when he first heard Ed Sheeran. Jake Gosling produced that first one for the first several Ed Sheeran albums, but at that point that Ed had not been signed, he'd not been discovered, and Jake was the one that found him and started working with him. And there is going to be more. There are going to be more Ed Sheerans out there. There are going to be more, whoever it may be, Josh Groban's, more Luke Bryan's. There's a load of potential stars out there, and I have a sneaking suspicion that I found one in this guy, and I'm going to carry on working with him. I'm going back in October to carry on working with him.
Oh, great.
But it's just like, you know what, he hasn't been signed yet, but I've just got this feeling, I've just got this gut feeling, and I want to be at ground level with him. And so you can go to your local town and find these kind of people if you look hard enough, but someone that just gets you. Don't think, oh, well, hold on a minute, they haven't been signed yet, so I'm not going to work with them. If they move you when they sing, then work with them. If they get you and you just get this gut instinct, follow it, because you want to be in at ground level. You don't want to be calling up a year later when they do get signed and say, oh, remember me? We met a year ago. Yeah, well done on getting signed. I want to work with you now. It's like, no, don't be that guy or girl. So that's all I have to say about that. Right, Jeff, there's a question for you, sir. When did you feel like you really made it as a songwriter?
Well, I had some good luck in the very beginning of my career. I started. I think Martin knows this story. I got married in '84. It was my wife's idea to become a songwriter, because at the time I was performing and on the road a lot, and I think she saw my talent in that vein, as well as wanting to be home as a father and have a family. And I think the values of my family values sort of changed the course, and I started to seriously songwrite, working in New York, with various writers and establishing contacts. And one of the first songs that I got cut was a #2 pop hit called "Don't Rush Me" by Taylor Dayne. So I had luck in the beginning. Of course, I created it, but I mean, I had a really good start. That was the good news, not the bad news, but not it was bad news, but the fact that I didn't have a real catalog, because I didn't have was writing with that many people. So it took me a lot, at least 3 or 4 years to acquire more songs and getting, more opportunities out there. And that's when, like Martin was saying, I started traveling. I went to LA, Sweden, London, various places. But to answer your question, that was my first taste of the industry. And it was, it was really a huge coup for me to have that big hit.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, didn't you have one of those moments in the car where it was on 3 different radio stations?
Yeah, I was just at an ice cream place, and it was in the winter, January, and Z100, Kiss at 95.5, and 97.1. Yeah, it was playing on all 3 stations, and I almost just fell out of the car. It was such an incredible moment. But guys, if you'd like, I just got a copy of the song that was recorded today. Do you want me to play it, Martin?
I'll tell you what, Jeff, I would love you to. The only issue is...
are we running out of time? I forgot.
No, it's not a time thing. It's the quality. The last thing you played, it started deteriorating really badly.
All right. We'll do it at another time.
But we'll definitely do it on another time when we've got the stereo. And I can't adjust the... I can't adjust the doodah.
No worries. Yeah, let's keep talking. This is probably better.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, so Tony's saying, can we hear yours too, Martin? When did you feel like you'd made it? And did it boost your creativity and drive? There's loads of little moments, I would say, along the way that I call the highs that you can't buy. And when I was, one of the big ones for me was when I was visiting Nashville, and I'd had zero success, and I was sleeping in the back of a van, and I was washing in the Burger King bathroom every morning and eating a 99-cent breakfast. I worked with a wonderful writer there called Randy Goodrum.
Great guy.
Yeah,
wow.
Wonderful guy. And we wrote a song that I think it was about 2 to 3 years later, Randy emailed me and said, we've got interest on the song. It was a song called Pass It On. And Olivia Newton-John cut it. And that was, I think that was my first platinum disc. And the fact that it had been written at a time when I had absolutely zero to my name, I was surviving on a shoestring. I think that was a really special moment. But these moments, there's lots of moments where you go, oh my God, this is what being a songwriter is all about. I've had a song of mine open up the show at the Royal Albert Hall in London, the Mike and Mechanics show. So being up in the one of the boxes there, looking down on the stage, Mike Rutherford walking on stage, playing the song that we'd written, which was the title track of the album, and 5,000 people going nuts. Seeing my song performed at the O2 Arena by the Backstreet Boys. And even last year, a song of mine opening up a big EDM festival in Washington State to 27,000 people, and seeing the video of that. And it's like every time you get these moments, it's like the first time, isn't it, Jeff? It's,
yeah.
Just every time you hear a song on the radio, you get that flutter that you get the first time. So, it's and it does boost you. I think it does boost your drive and creativity. You sort of, I've still got it. I can.
Yeah, and I know you get this feeling too in a writing. Like on this trip in Amsterdam. Just the feeling of writing an amazing song, which I know all of you have felt too, is cherish that, because you're creating a baby, and it's there's something, and be very discerning what is a good song, because it's important to not, what I'm trying to say is not every song you're gonna feel that way, and really be very, I think when it's a great song, and that is such a great feeling.
Yeah.
So guys, don't be cynical with this business. It's a crazy business. It's a rotten business, but we are so blessed. It's a freaking rotten business, but there are opportunities, and how many people are saying, wouldn't they love to be a songwriter? Wouldn't they love to do what you're doing? 9 out of 10 people, when I mention I'm a songwriter, they say, "Oh man, God, I wish I could have done that," or "Boy, that's so I envy you." And yes, they don't know the hardship of of some of the the day-to-day we go through. But let me say this: the more tools you have under your belt, the more craft and skill, you're gonna be ahead of the game. And that's why I so believe in the Songwriting Academy, guys. It's the magic of this retreat was just phenomenal. And that was because people really wanted to learn, and they were receptive. You get the ego out of the room and just dive right into your soul,
Yeah. Oh, thank you, man. Appreciate it. In fact, Julie wants to. One of my goals, Martin, is to go on one of your songwriting camps. Julie, no, I don't want you.
No, and I don't either.
No. Julie, no. Of course, Julie, just hit me up. Let's try and make it happen for next year. So next May would be perfect, because I'll be on that one as well. So there's a question from, we've got about 15 minutes left, Jeff, here.
Okay.
From Chris saying, how did you demo that song? I think this is to you, Jeff, about Don't Rush Me.
Okay.
How did you demo it? Was it just singing over your piano playing, or was it a more produced version?
Okay, this is a very good question, and let me explain. Okay, so there was a woman named Alex Forbes who wrote the lyric. Came over to my house. We were supposed to write a song for an artist named Kathy Tricoli, who at the time was a Christian artist doing a pop record and needed a single. So during that era, as you remember, it was the AIDS era. Alex thought it would be a really good idea to write a song about, you know, sex. Don't rush me. I made that mistake before. It seemed to be a very timely topic, and we wrote the song. It was just piano vocal with a little drum track, and we played it for Kathy, and she loved it, but she wanted something a little more Christian, so she passed on the song. And I loved the song so much that I knew we had to demo it. So we demoed it with a very talented arranger in New York named Steve Skinner. Demoed the song, and then in a cab, Alex had 5 different demo singers that she thought would be good for the song. And I listened to all 5, and I picked one named Leslie Wonderman. And she ended up doing the demo for $150. And at the time, she had a 12-inch deal with Arista Records, and her first single was called Tell It to My Heart. And I went on a trip with my wife, came back, and on the voicemail, there was a message saying that we got to cut the Arista Records name, an artist named Taylor Dane. And I didn't know who the hell that was. Well, to make a long story short, Leslie changed her name to Taylor Dane. So that was who sang our demo of the song.
Wow. How about that?
Okay. So the moral of this story is get the best singer you can for your demos. And wouldn't it be great if you had an artist that wanted to cut the song like Taylor? That was ideal.
Yeah.
But that's the moral of this story. So many people
and make the best demos that you can. You know, do not. You know, I mean, Jeff knows this. I spend weeks getting my demos just right, because once you've sent them out there, you can't unsend them. If there's, you know, something that sounds a bit squishy on there, or a bit nasty, or, you know, a duff note on the vocal that didn't get fixed, it's like, it's great vocal, great demo, great mix, you know, the best mastering that you can, and just give it the same love that you give it during the songwriting period, you know, with the production as well, and get it as close to sounding like a record as it can. You know, I've just had 2 songs picked up in South Korea, and they've not only said we want the songs, but they want my tracks as well. So they want all of my stems. So here's the thing: I spend all this time for no financial return making the demos, but then they're willing to pay me the back end because they love it so much that they want to use my parts. So I do get financially rewarded for it. So it's a great investment. Great investment to time to do that.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
And Chris is saying, you know, with my song with Olivia, the Pass It On song, that was me and Randy. We demoed that fully. Again, we actually did a female demo of this. We did a male demo of it to cover all bases, and it was a great female demo singer that I guess that sold it to Olivia. But even then, and this is quite interesting, you know, Olivia came back and said that she wanted us to change the lyric in the pre-chorus, which was, it was a little bit kind of country. It was sort of Meet Me Under the Bridge by Turner's Pike, and, you know, and it was a little bit kind of like out there, a bit country. And so Jeff and Randy and I went back together and rewrote the pre-chorus. He then he didn't just send Olivia the lyric, he got the demo singer back in, the same demo singer, like 2 or 3 years later, back in to do the revised pre-chorus, and then sent it to Olivia, and then we got the cut. So always make the best demo that you can. It's money very, very well spent. And you're not going to get it back on every song that you make. You know, I've spent tens of thousands probably on session singers and demo studios and gear, and you know, not all of the songs that I've demoed have been cut, but enough of them have to get my money back. Yeah. So right, do we have any more questions here, or shall we call it an evening? This is your chance. Please put it into the chat window, not the Q&A now, because for some reason my software the platform has crashed. Or so if you've got any more questions, if not, oh, Matt saying, what about starting out with a small budget for demos? Yeah, Matt, you can do it for a really reasonable budget, you know, and you can just with if you've got a MacBook and you've got Logic or a PC with Cubase, you can do a hell of a lot with that, and a half decent microphone, you know, a few £100 for a microphone, and you can get a long way with that. Do not use USB microphones. You know, make sure that you have a proper sound card, a proper ADDA converter. But yeah, you don't need a massive budget. The most important thing that you need in the studio are these. Something that whatever you record, you listen to it so carefully and make it sound the very, very best it can. Yeah, Matt saying he's got a Rode NT1, which is great. Focusrite Scarlett. That's great, Matt. But learn how to program, learn how to use loops, when to use them, learn how to, you know, make life easy for yourself, get some decent plugins. And, you know, that's not money that you're just spending on one demo. You get a decent set of plugins and it will see you across every demo you ever make. But even Logic itself has got so many great.
Like Contact is a good.
Yeah.
Contact Complete is good for a few $100.
Yeah, yeah. Contact is brilliant, and I use Nexus 2, NEX US 2, and I mean, I probably use that on every single demo I make. Nexus 2, there's got so many great samples in there, and I've made entire records, like an entire track, just using Nexus 2, and got a cut with it as well. So, so that's how easy it can be, but it takes diligence and a lot of TLC and love to make it. You can't just throw stuff at the screen and assume it's going to work. And Zoe's got a good comment as well. Have a look for recent vocal graduates for cheaper rates for session singers. You know, and there'll be session singers within the Songwriting Academy as well. Some will be more expensive than others. Some people will be doing it just. Some people even barter it. You know, it's like, I'll do a vocal session for you if you do a track for me, and you know, that's a great way to work if you're all doing this. So you know, and this again comes down to getting off your ass and talking to each other, and finding out who's who, and finding people that you can work with. This is what Jeff and I have done all of our lives.
That's right.
Create connection.
Right. And use Martin's philosophy in the songwriting process with production. Don't settle. Do not settle, because you guys have got to have first-rate productions. And I know Martin's helping you, saying, you know, learn your craft, but also knowing your strengths. If you don't want to get there, find somebody who can do it and pay them, because it's worth it. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You know, you've got to speculate to accumulate. And it's like having children. You know, you can't just give them a pair of old shorts that you found at the bottom of the garden. You want to go out and get them the best clothes that you can. And you find a way. Correct. You find a way. Yeah. If you give a shit, you find a way. Right. And if you don't, and I've had publishers saying to me that if they hear anything that's amateur sounding within the first 5 seconds, if it sounds amateur, they'll switch it off. So that's what you're up against. So we've got to tell you how it is, everybody. But you know what? This is
this is how we do it. This is how we get songs in the charts. We spend a shit ton of time writing them and crafting them and going back and rewriting, and then we spend a shit ton of time demoing the things and getting the best outcome that we possibly can. And we network, so we've got people to play them to as well. And that's what we're bringing to you. If you guys who aren't members of the main Songwriting Academy, we have a platinum mentoring program, of which Jeff is a mentor for us, along with about 40 other mentors, all hit songwriters, producers. If you're interested in finding out about that, please hit me up, send me a message, and I'll be happy to tell you about it. We've got people all over the world that's part of this mentoring program, where we get to know you as people, as writers, and we try and move you forward. You can talk to plenty of the people. Alana's a platinum member, so is David Jarman, and I know Kevin Jakeman is in there as well. Kelly is in there. So we've got platinum members within this online community, but if you want to find out more, then come and talk to me. And of course, Matt Rivers as well. I'm trying to scroll down, but I can't, so I can't see all of the names. But guys, I want to thank you all for joining us on this webinar. Apologies for my Q&A mouse problems, but looking forward to seeing you in 2 weeks' time. We're going to be having, I think it's myself and Joe Killington, going to be doing a song feedback one, and I'd like to get Jeff back as well to do I would love to song feedback. The entire thing is where we listen to songs. So thank you everybody for showing up. Tell everybody else what we're doing around the world, and get everybody. Let's build this community, everybody.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, and
thank you everybody.
Seeing you all. Okay.
All right.
Cheers now. Bye bye.
See you. Bye bye.
Got to try and end this darn thing now.